Hey guys. Okay. Couple of things. I've got the got a little RCA radio here that we looked at on the previous video, and circuit board was a mess, just sticky. But I've got something that I want to show you guys. Permit me to disconnect you from the tripod, but I have a new arsenal in my, or a new weapon in my arsenal. It's a little big, ultrasonic cleaner, 1.5 liter. It's a big dog. Basically, I'm using distilled water in it. Now, everybody's got their own combination. I just started off with this one, but distilled water and 409, just a little bit, and just a few drops of non-dishwashing. It worked really good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this radio back apart. I'm going to take the PC board out of it. I'm going to pull the mark and pull the transformers out, the tuning coil, and anything that will get damaged. And I'm going to take this board and I'm going to put it in that ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to see just exactly how good this is going to do. So I'm going to bring you back when I get it apart. I decided I'd go ahead and record some of this. So I've ordered all my capacitors already for this project. So let's take a look at the radio and let's get it apart. Here we go. So what my plan is, excuse me, I'll reach across. I'm going to go ahead and unhook the tuning capacitor leads here. And remember, of course, this is fairly simple. Fairly simple, but take pictures of this stuff before you take it loose for visual reference. Anything you take apart, visual reference. Keep you from going like, oh my gosh, where did I take this stuff loose from? Some of this wiring is rather stiff. There is a coil. So what I basically got to do to this is I'm going to take everything off here that is acceptable to damage and water damage and vibration. I haven't decided on the tuning gang. I know that you can ultrasonic these. I've seen people do it. And I haven't decided if I want to do it on the board or not. See if I can get this out. I need my glasses. Can't see. Tell you what, I love my little Heyco soldering iron. You get just about any tip you want for it. It didn't cost that much. It cost me about $3, I think. And I used to have an old Radio Shack special. Use a little solder wick on that. I had a Radio Shack special, a little I forgot who made that thing. Of course, you know, Radio Shack ain't never made nothing of their own. It's always somebody else outsourced. But it finally died on me. So I just bought a new Heyco FX 961 for work. Loved it. Loved it so much that bought my own for my home shop here. And also bought for my home shop, my office, also bought a Hako desoldering iron. However, it was a handheld desoldering iron with the pump and everything. I saw, I forgot what his name was, one of the guys used it. First time I saw it was on Arcade Repair, I think's the name of the channel. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. I'd have to look. But that thing did it all. It was like my Heyco, the soldering iron. You turn it on in 20 seconds, at 15 seconds later it's ready to roll, no matter what tip you use. Okay, getting back to this radio real quick. I've got the AM loop, the ferrite antenna, disconnected, which is going right here to the tuning capacitor. So the next thing that I'm going to do, is I'm going to unhook this wiring. I'm trying to decide how I want to do it. I think it comes through the board here. Now, I do have some corrosion on this board, which is another reason that I want to go ahead and clean it with my ultrasonic cleaner. So I'm going to attempt. This wire is fairly brittle, fairly stiff. See if I can get this out. Now, it goes into the eyelet of this AC plug. Really, there we go. There we go. I'm probably going to replace these two. I've got the wiring. If you look on eBay, if you're looking for 600 volt wiring, which is what I would suggest for anything electronic that has tubes in it, I would go with the 600 volt wiring, and believe it's Remington. Just look on eBay on Remington wire, and you should come up with, make another picture of this, you'll find the distributor that I use. I'm going to pull the coils out of this too. I'm going to pull the capacitors out that I got to restuff. And I'm going to pull the tubes out, the coils, the IF transformers. They don't need to be involved in this. That's why you want to make pictures. You want to make sure all this mess gets put back like you found it. Yep. Yes, sir, you do. So now, I think these wires are really corroded. In fact, I'm going to just replace these. They go to the output transformer. They're really stiff and they've got that old funky coating on it. Ground wire right here, got to get loose. And since this is where the electrolytic capacitor came from, go ahead and take these two capacitors out. They were not needed. I will be replacing them with new values that I've ordered from Mouser. Sure we're still recording. Alright, all that's out of the way. All the dangerous stuff is done. Oh man, unprofessional. Unprofessional. Got the solder blob on there. How bad of me. Should strive to do better. Okay, the next thing that has to come out on this radio, if you can see it, you may not be able to. Let me turn it around very carefully. This bar here goes from the plastic, which be very careful of this plastic, and it holds the circuit board in. I'm going to take this out next. And one thing about this plastic, when you unhook it, take your time. And when you go back in here with these type screws, okay, I run out of space on my memory card. Where was I? I was talking about plastic. When you pull these screws out of the plastic, when you go back in them, widen that a little bit. When you go back in with these screws, there you go. You go back into these screws into this plastic. A lot of you will know, but you don't just go in there and just start. What you have to do, take this screw, it's just a very coarse thread. Put your screw in and turn it backwards till you feel it kind of drop a little bit, and just kind of feel. When you feel it drop a little bit, stop. That means it found the thread that it was started with originally. Then very carefully, see? If you don't do that, if you just force it in there, it will bust that plastic. And you will cuss for an hour or two. Anyway, back to what we were doing. There's the support pieces out. Okay, so far we're doing good. So we've got the leads taken off the board. All these antenna leads done, the ground's done. Got the support leads, so everything's good. Now we got one screw. Are you in frame? Yeah. One screw. Let's go zoom you in just a little bit there. And get you down here. We're halfway. See what the heck I'm doing. That looks good. One screw right here to the top, right here next to the volume control. That's what holds is helps hold this chassis in. Sure, now it should. This should come up, over. You got to clear the tuning gang. There you are. There's the tuning gang right there. Alright, so we'll move this out of the harm's way. Then we have the board here. So next thing that I would like to do is try my best to pull the tuning knob off. That's very fancy, I think. Alright, now we're down to the circuit board. Now, I was talking about, let me get my pointer across here. This here is the oscillator coil for the AM. I'm going to pull it. The reason I'm going to pull it is the coil form is still cardboard. So I'm going to extract it using my solder, my Heyco soldering sucker. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to pull the volume control out. I'm going to pull the two IF cans out. And I'm probably going to just go ahead and take the tuning gang out. And take the 3 electrolytics out. And then, of course, the tubes. Then I'm going to dunk it in the ultrasonic cleaner for about 30 minutes. See what happens. So, you want to pull these capacitors out, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test it on my little Syncor LC103 inductor capacitor tester that was given to me and for free, and it worked fine. Anyway, let me get you robed for just a minute. I'll show you the circuit board. Get my zoom to work. Circuit board is pretty nasty, as you can see right here. You know that? That's nasty. All of this is nasty. The bottom of this Bottom of the circuit board don't look too bad. You can certainly tell where the audio output tube is, which is right here, because the board is blackened just a little bit. So this grid, this tube, this capacitor right here is the, I think is the grid of the tube, which it could be leaky, but we'll test them on my capacitor tester here shortly. And so let me get to undoing all this stuff. I'll bring you back. Okay, here we go. I'm back. This is the Heyco desoldering iron that I was talking about. It's a Heyco FR301. If you can see that. All self-contained. Now the only thing I got to do is I did not buy the extra tips, which I need to do. I'm hoping this tip is big enough to do, but I think it's the 0.5 mil tip. And I got to turn it on. Basically, it's got, this is where you activate the pump. This is the temperature indicator. When it starts flashing on off, it means it's to its set temperature. This is the on off button right here. And then here is the temperature settings right here. And I just used setting 1, which is 350 degrees Celsius, 660 degrees Fahrenheit, which is good enough for most things. So the first thing I'm going to do, it is ready to go. So let's pull these little tube wax capacitors out. There's one. I love this thing. Let's see here. Got plenty of suction to it. That's the other thing I like. Don't have a stupid long cord and vacuum hose and all that mess hanging out too. Got to keep track of. Love it. I hadn't found anything wrong with it. It's easy to clean. They give you everything you need. Okay, that part's done. Let's see. Now we got the AM transformer to get out. AM oscillator, that is. Trying a different method here. You destroy that coil pretty much, unless you just have a source of this stuff. May as well just chunk the radio in the garbage. Sell it for parts or something. Yep. There we go. There that is. We treat that carefully and put it back in. We shouldn't have to do any tuning. Okay, so got them out. Now, don't think my soldering iron will work on these, but desoldering. Let's find out. Nope. Tip's too big. Yep, time to clean the tip. Bring you back. Boom. Alright, kiddies. Let that be a lesson to you. You gotta keep your tip clean every time you get done with it. Alright, back to these cans. Much as it pains me, I may have to resort to my old one to do the IF transformers. You definitely don't want to damage those. Get in a hurry, don't be a jerk. thinking I can get enough of this thing off here. Almost got it. There's always different ways to do things. I'm just pulling solder out from around it. Heat this connection up just a little bit. There we go. Got one. That was successful. If you just take your time and figure things out, you'll be perfectly fine in this hobby. It's a hobby for me, but believe it or not, I did used to do this for a living. Over 40 years ago. A place called Allen's Radio and TV Service, Main Street, Winfield. We were a Zenith dealership back then. And I did work on some of this kind of stuff, but I don't think I ever worked on any of this old. I mean, I think some of them, mostly color TVs and colored and TVs in black and white. Look how easy that was. I have major back problems now, and due to working at that TV shop, because I was in about late teens, 20, you know, and the boss will go out on service calls, and I'll be left at the shop by myself. Check that back. And old lady would drive up, or Cadillac or whatever. The TV stuck in the trunk of the car. Big old 27-inch wooden cabinet console TV. I would have to unload that myself. And that is what took its toll on my back. You got to be careful with these old circuit boards. You can't manhandle these things. Just gotta take your time. Well, I don't know why it wasn't moving. Still got another section right here to come off. And this old circuit board's I've been lucky so far I hadn't broke a trace. These circuit boards are not this modern type circuit boards that we're used to now, which can take a lot more heat. These things, there's some better than others. So far I haven't broke this one yet. But the day is young. Just trying to get this volume control assembly out. There's a bit more solder on these than I would like. Got that one loose. Trying to be really careful with this thing. There we go. There we go. Okay, volume control is out. It's almost all the valuable, important stuff other than the tuning gang. Tuning gang's got its cold solder joint on it. Imagine that. Imagine that. That would have been an issue after a little bit of time. That was going to have to be dealt with anyway. Let's see if we can get some. I'm going to use solder wick on. See if I can extract the solder out of here. All I need a little more heat to do this effectively. Let's see. Oh yeah, that piece of solder braid getting kind of hot. Trying to be mindful. Trying to be mindful of too much heat on this PC board can damage it. Make the lens come off, and then you're in for a really bad day. I didn't actually start off today thinking I was going to work on radios today. I was actually supposed to be going down to my deer camp, spending a day or two down there, taking the four-wheeler down there and just getting away from town. But then I think about all the stuff I'd rather be doing. I do need to go to the camp though and take care of some business down there. We have, there's a disease that affects deer called chronic wasting disease, and it's a disease that attacks the brain of deer. Not transferable to humans yet, but so far Louisiana has not had any instances until here recently of any in our state. There is in Arkansas and Mississippi. They're starting to. They've had instances of it there, and we're starting to see some in our eastern parishes, which means it's just a matter of time that basically deer hunting is just going to become nothing. Louisiana is a joke in many ways. The politicians are jokes here. You know, the only thing worse than a crooked politician is a crooked politician from Louisiana. But anyway, wildlife and fisheries, everything is political in Louisiana. I mean, everything. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Which doesn't serve the public too good in some instances. The jobs in this state suck. The job atmosphere is taxed beyond belief. I don't know why any corporation in their right mind would want to wheel and visit here. If you're a young person going to college, there's not going to be a lot of stuff for you to find job-wise around here. Louisiana is just a sorry state, simply because of the politicians. From the governor all the way down, even local governments, really bad. Trying to get this tuning gang out of here. Here we are. The battle tuning gang now out. It's really not bad, but it's going to get ultrasonic anyway. But I have to take the mica insulators out of it, so I think the ultrasonic will damage them. But anyway, here's the board. Now you can see how funky it looks. Whoa, look at me, drop it. Hot dog, old Sam liked to come through, didn't he? So, I'm going to clean these 3 little wires here up real quick. And it should be prepped for a bath. I got to scrape all that wax off too. That wax, that ultrasonic is not going to touch that wax. That wax probably leaked, apparently just came out of the those capacitors. I guess off the body of it, I guess. This capacitor that so leaks so bad is right next to the audio output, I think. Just trying to get these old wires off the way. Go ahead using the desoldering machine, clean those holes up. I think it's all up. Okay. As I said, I'm going to clean the wax off this board, which is here, and that resistor right there. It looks like 120 ohm or 1200 ohm. That's probably bad. It's got corrosion on the leads. But my battery's about dead in my camera, and I'm going to go ahead and finish prepping this, clean it off a little bit, and put it in the ultrasonic, and I'll bring you back after it's all done. Alright, bye-bye. Alright, real quick. I know I got a little bit of battery left, but on one of those capacitors I had all that wax on the board. One thing that you can do to clean it, it's very simple. You don't have to use any chemicals at all. Let me zoom you in. The battery's almost dead in this camera, so we'll make this quick. Use a heat gun. Heat the board up slightly till you see the wax liquefy. Be careful now. Overheat it. Just take a shop towel, wipe it clean. And you're done. I got one more right here to do. That way, when you put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, there'll be no wax residue in the way of the cleaner. In fact, I'm probably going to pull that resistor off. Anyway, now I'll bring you back. Bye. Alright, see if I got enough battery to do this. Alright. There's the machine. There's the ultrasonic cleaner. Now watch. Lead you guys around a little bit better. Just apologize for the frontal shot. As I said, I bought this off of eBay. It's a 1.5 liter, which is a little big. We'll go ahead and turn the heater on. It's been warmed up already. Another job. I've already used this 3 times this morning. So I'm just going to put this in there. And it's kind of big. And let's go back to the tuning gang. You want to get that mica out of there if possible, because otherwise you can damage it. Yes, when you do that, you affect your tuning. I know. One thing that I don't have with this ultrasonic is the basket. Take that mica, put it in a safe place. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, this thing is very stiff. A little stiffer than I think it should be. I'm just opening the gangs up. I'm going to dunk it in there with a PC board. And I'm going to activate the time. 25 minutes. There you go. Now we wait. While we wait, I'm going to process the first part of this video. Alright, bye. Now I gotta record here. The battery's almost dead. Hey guys, good morning. Working on this RCA Victor C-3E chassis. Did a little work on it, and let me show you what I got real quick before the battery dies. Hang on. Hang on. Let's see. First thing is the chassis, or the circuit board. Look at that. Pretty that thing turned out. I pulled the tuning gang off, put it in the ultrasonic bath, pulled the transformers out and the oscillator coil out, all the tubes, volume control, put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. However, the ultrasonic cleaner did not touch it because this thing was so grease laden. Apparently this was in the kitchen. So grease, best thing you can use is this grease lightning. Comes in a yellow bottle. That stuff, you just spray it on here, let it set, take your brush, wire, and you'll see the grease come off. It'll just be nasty, dark brownish looking residue coming off, and you give this thing several treatments of that. And then once you do that, then you can go back in, and what else I did is I took a heat gun to it and just ran the heat gun on it, melted the grease, and I took just a blue shop towel and wiped off as much as I could, then went back with the grease lightning and then put it on there and let it soak, and just used a brush to brush it all off. But it turned out really good. I'm pleased. The ultrasonic cleaner did its job on the tuning gang. The tuning gang looks really good. Clean all the gunk off the tubes. You'll notice my filter capacitor now. It's been all the filters inside. Been gutted it yesterday. Put new capacitors on the board. Took some hot glue and stuck in the can in the bottom part. Pushed it down. It's done. I had to replace 2 resistors. This 47K was really high, and this 150 ohm down here was twice the value, which is the cathode resistor of the output tube. Then I changed, of course, 2 capacitors in the filter. This .015, I didn't have an 015. All I had was a .01, so I just put that on there. I'm sorry, this is the .01 right here. That's really across the output transformer to ground. That affects tone. 047 decoupling cap and another 047 decoupling cap. So what? 2, 3, 4, 5 capacitors, 2 resistors. A lot of elbow grease, but this board came out beautiful. Here's all the components replaced right there. I apologize for the light. A little bit bright because I had the door open and my balance is not right on this camera, and I got to fix that. Let's get over here a little bit. Output transformer. It's got these wires they're really stiff, and I'm going to try very carefully this morning to cut this off and put new wires on it. I'll have to use heat shrink, of course, to make it match, but I don't want to. These wires are super stiff. I haven't decided on these wiring yet. I think this is probably okay, but they are stiff too. So I'm trying to make my mind up about that. So anyway, that's the stuff I got to do. I cleaned the case yesterday, took it apart. Oh, this gamma's just really too bad. I apologize. Something's wrong with my light balance on this camera. But it shines, and I cleaned it all up, put it in the sink, washed it with soap. You know, dishwashing liquid. Anyway, I'll let you go. The battery's about to die. That's a quick little update on this. Get it all back together and all that. I'll bring you back. And also have this light balance fixed on this camera too. Alright, bye.